day 287 for UBAD Educational Foundation Hair Awareness Campaign. And Adeocha, because in the interest of African descendants racialized as Black people, are they not from street in Belize City in front of the headquarters for the Ministry of Education for bring awareness to the injustice for years, primarily by schools in Belize sending children home when they not adhere to European hair policies. One, sending home so deny them education. Two, violate their right to wear their hair how they choose because that ain't right as one Belizean. So today that day 287, usually on Tuesday I call WB and bring awareness about this campaign. Finally, I don't know how much I done come out here. Look like I finally come out here for one day when the tourists then about. So I see how that got today. But since the last time I talked to the Moors, I remember I'm gone and I sit down and meet with Human Rights Commissioner Belize, President and Vice President. And they said they felt that they had worked on a case before with hair discrimination in Belize. So that ever nothing strange to the Belize Human Rights Commissioner Belize. They agreed to send one letter to the Belize National Teachers Union, BNTU, and the Association and Belize Association for Principals of Secondary Schools. And they sent out their letters. To my knowledge, you don't get no response back yet. So I got on my t-shirt. Teachers got your back. We in solidarity with the teachers. We want to know if the teachers and principals of secondary school, all teachers of Belize, got the students then top. Because since then got for we back, we want to then got for we top. Because the only thing I've ever been told is the school, that the school rules what the children and care code the school, they hear like that, but nothing beyond that. So we want to hear what the teachers and the principals they have to say, because they see the students more than we on a regular basis. And if they just go along with follow school rules too, we want it on record. So we'll wait to hear back from BNTU and BAPS, BAPSS, regarding a letter that Human Rights Commissioner Belize sent for them. They never date the letter, so I don't know how long ago Human Rights Commissioner Belize sent it today. So that's the part of it right now in this hair campaign. You hear anything recent, new about hair discrimination anywhere in the world, Mose?
No, I have not read anything recently. But I'm happy to have you on to again demonstrate the kind of exemplary consistency to stand and to make sure that the powerful and especially those responsible are held accountable to correct. Sometimes people don't correct things just because you point out that they're wrong. Unfortunately, especially the powerful, they need a little bit more than that. For whatever the reason, powerful authority figures are those who seem the least inclined to respond to clarity and enlightenment, and to say, listen, we need to do something about this. So this is only one layer of consistency. Obviously, you have other things that you will do, but I also feel that getting others involved, I think it's appropriate to find out where the BNTU stands on this matter. I don't know I think it varies from institution to institution how school rules are brought together. I don't know that there is an inclusive process at most institutions, but I do feel that teachers do have input, so it's an important question to have on the record to them.
Babs, I believe I have on my African inspired hairstyle by Malika Wagner, my hair magician. Moz, based on what you said just now, under both administration, the ministers of education, the chief executive officers of the Ministry of Education, the chief education officers of the Ministry of Education, under both administration, consistently say that was constitutional violation. Now, if they know they're on constitutional violation, and we keep getting these reports via the news, and not all the discrimination get reported to the news, then clearly then just giving it lip service not a work. We already had it twice for this year, both at the same school, Anglican Cathedral College, primarily females the first time, primarily males the second time. So the fact that the ministry kept the target and the violations kept get reported, that to me said that the Ministry of Education complicit in the hair discrimination and the injustice of Belizean students. So if the state know that there was a constitutional violation, then they're not even about each school having their own policy. It's a constitutional violation. So the Ministry of Education are the primary leader in this process. Then the management of schools, oftentimes Christian denominations, and then it gets to the associations or the unions. That's how I understand the line of command go. Now,
But we've also had issues at government-controlled schools. So I know for a fact that that has happened. So again, from my understanding, school rules at most schools, most public schools, even if they are not under government control, the major part of the cost is being paid by the government of Belize. So if they say, listen, this rule has to change, and they're the one who pay the bill. Okay, say come down to that.
Yes.
But yes, I think it's also important to have all the stakeholders aligned on this matter. So yes, we understand that the government bears the responsibility of defending the Constitution and making sure that the rights are not being violated. But we also want to know that everybody's aligned downstairs as well, that everybody understands why this has to be this way.
Indeed, because they're still, and I appreciate Belizeans and they slow down their vehicle and they read the signs. Some of the past I said I listen to the WB right now. So I really appreciate the Belizeans' support. This past weekend I'm down south for one gathering of Belizean women, primarily black women. And I met Christina Cox, and I, because of the hairstyle, people asked me why they wear the hairstyle, and I explained why. And she said for the youth, that's standard 5. And he has one long braid in the middle of back as an indigenous child who know a history and the people. That one of the first things colonizers did with indigenous people, similar to African people, they shave your hair to make a disconnect from your people. And so she said she don't have no issue with she child in a standard 5 in a school at Southern Belize. Now, when he got to high school in about 2 years, hopefully the law won't change by then. But definitely UEF will be approaching the indigenous people in the South for them to be in alliance. And I never think about that before I had the conversation with Christina. And it's for Belizean people to understand. Because you have a number of Belizeans who still say that is school rule, follow the rule, or not send a picnic at school. Listen to me. That's why we still enslaved mentally. Blind obedience give rise to resistance. The enslavement of African people was a legal matter. Law not make it just. And I really want Belizean people hear me on that. Not because they want law mean that it's right or mean that it's just, similarly to one rule. So please encourage your children enough to just follow one rule because the rule today. And a number of these young people, they question the rule because they're like, my hair not got nothing to do with how I land. And we also expanded the campaign to send an email to the Minister of Labor for follow Puerto Rico example in 2024, when they changed that the first Caribbean country would change their hair law for offer protection to students and employees in the private and public sector when it comes to how they wear their hair. Here, not just one style, especially for African people. It has always been part of European enslavement, colonization, a part of our identity. They could tell if you're married, what group of people you come from, if you're a priest. Your hair says a lot about who you are. Your natural hair, like how you grow to your head, especially black people. And if you choose to style it, what matters is that you have to have it clean. Yes, to that, your hair have to clean. But absolutely no to the consistent cases reported in the news in all 6 districts over a 9-year period of hair discrimination, primarily among African people racialized as Black in Belize and others.
How long are they out there today, sister?
And it out till 12 o'clock. I come out a little late most because I finally stop and drink tea there. Spooner's Reggae Cafe. And meet the Jamaican brother who we talk about more at once. And the partner. So I invite them to come on WEB Thursday morning because they will have one Juneteenth event, the Spooner's Cafe, with Belizean comedians. And I'm just so happy for in our space we have Black ownership that Belize with a level of excellence.
So we had.
It was. I hear what you had, and I hear how you just blown away for how nice and nice. But I had Johnny cake, beans, and by without the yolk, and Milo.
Gotcha. Big up, God.
I can't believe Janty. Now, because I'm going to the pair me had it. Me had pair me have the pair to the pair me ready.
All right. Well, give thanks, and of course, you'll be here Thursday morning.
Yes. I will be next Tuesday morning, weather permitting, I'll walk from Ladyville.
Okay.
I'll check in with her then. Until then, thanks, Mose. Thanks, police. All of the people who have saved the people.
Give thanks, Sister Yaya, Chairperson, UBAD Educational Foundation.